So start sitting on your mat any way that's comfortable. Welcome to some Woodland Yoga. I'm in Park Moch, Bethesda, which is a lovely community woodland, just as you enter the village of Bethesda as you're coming from Bangor. So we are going to do some yoga, sort of morning yoga, to kind of get you feeling warmed up and woken up in a general way. But if you just start sitting upright, and that could be on the floor, it could even be a chair if you're at home. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Close your eyes. And take some super deep breaths. Whether you're outdoors or indoors today, drawing in the fresh air of the morning. On your inhale, feel as if you're filling your lungs and filling right down to your belly with this fresh air. And then when you breathe out, you're just letting go of sleep, letting go of any sort of stickiness, detritus, toxins that you need to let go of. So breathing in the freshness. And breathing out anything you want to let go. Deliberately making each breath a little bit bigger than the previous one. So a sense of warming up your lungs. Warming up your breath. And your breath moving you towards being a little bit more awake. A little bit more alive this morning. Great. Let's do some side to side movement now. So inhale, reach your arms out to the sides. Exhale, tip over one side. One hand comes to the floor, the other hand can come up if that feels good, or just keep stretching to the side, whatever feels easy. Inhale to the middle. Exhale, going the other way. And then continue that at your own pace. Not being too precise about this movement, letting yourself kind of freestyle it a little bit as to what you're doing with your arms. Just moving it within what feels comfortable and good to help you wake up. Noticing all the things that are going on, like you could get into lots of different stuff with your spine, with your shoulders, with your ribs, with your arms here. Just playing with a bit of side bending and moving your arm around. It's really, noticing your shoulder and noticing what's the comfortable range of movement there in this moment. Like just playing with that, not forcing or straining, just kind of feeling, how can I move my shoulder right now? And then playing with the other side. How does your other shoulder feel? What movement would feel Just nice to get a bit of mobility there without any strain. And then come back to sitting up straight. Let's move on to our hands and knees now. And if at any point your wrists feel sore, just come down onto your forearms instead, so that you're not straining on your wrists if your wrists don't feel good. Just on your hands and knees, just make some again, continue with a slightly freestyle movements, just moving your hips and shoulders. Maybe going a little side to side or forward and back. And again, do a bit of side bending here. So if you squeeze your right shoulder and your right hip towards each other, and then come back to neutral. And then go the other way. Squeeze your left hip and left shoulder towards each other. So you're side bending to the left, and then back to the middle. Just play with that. Okay, let's do some hip tilts now. You could either be on your hands, or you could bring your forearms down to the floor. We'll just be focusing on moving around the base of the spine and the hips. So just keep your head and shoulders somewhere that feels neutral. Now focusing on your sacrum, on the back of your pelvis. Just inhale, and like your tailbone will go up slightly, and the top of your pelvis will nod downwards. Then as you exhale, reverse that. Your tailbone is going sort of downwards. The top of your sacrum is moving upwards. And as you exhale, you can kind of pull your belly in. Your lower back is rounding a little. So inhale, relax your belly. Tailbone goes up. Feel which direction that tilt is moving. Which direction is the rotation going? And exhale and reverse that. Tailbone going down, belly going in, lower back rounding. And then continue to play with that really basic tilting movement. Focusing on the base of your spine. Warming up your mobility at the base of your spine. Providing this gentle movement for the vertebra, like right at the base. A bit of really gentle bending and squishing for the discs in between your vertebra. Also maybe connecting to your lower belly muscles. And you can bring your pelvic floor into this as well. As you inhale, your pelvic floor is relaxing outwards. As you exhale, gather your pelvic floor inwards. Great. Come on with that now. And move on to your back. Do some nice stuff on the back now. So Make your way onto your back with your knees bent. Take a couple of resting breaths here on your back. With your eyes, just noticing whatever's above you, whether that's shapes from nature or whether it's your ceiling. And then whether you're inside or outside, have a sense of reaching your awareness out beyond that into the sky. However the sky is, wherever you are today. Let's do a few cat exercises here, because that's a really nice way of warming up around the spine and core and releasing tension from those areas too. You start with focusing on your lower back. Have your knees bent, soles of your feet on the floor, and your hips and shoulders and arms and feet will all stay on the floor. But you're going to explore arching in your lower back so that you create more space between your lower back and the floor. So on inhale, in particular, you'll increase the curve of your lower back. So there's more space between your lumbar and the floor. Then as you exhale, slowly release and relax your lower back, doing that as slowly as you can. Oops, I've got a leaf on my foot. So continue with that practice, inhaling and arching lower back. Exhale, very slow release of your lower back, releasing any tension that you notice. Releasing and letting that go. Now pause for a moment without doing that action. Just feeling your body supported by the floor, by the ground, by the earth. Notice each place that your body is supported, each part of you that is held by the earth. Okay, let's do cat exercise 2 now. Clasp your hands together and then have your head resting in your hands. Inhale and arch your lower back as you just did. Exhale, slowly release your lower back. And as you do that, lift your head and your chest up off the floor and your shoulders. Inhale, very slowly release out of that, back down to the floor. At the end of your inhale, arch in your low back. Exhale, release in your lower back, lift your head and shoulders up, contracting your shoulders towards your hips. Inhale, releasing, shoulders away from hips, arching in your lower back. Exhale, release lower back, lift head and shoulders up. Do a couple more really slowly, as slowly and mindfully as you can. After that round, pausing, bringing your hands somewhere comfortable. Really letting your head and neck just totally rest on the ground. Check you're not holding any tension in your throat, your neck, your shoulders, just letting any tension drain away. And then turn over onto your front. Just got to get a stone out of the way. There we go. So lie on your front now. And take the right and take your right arm so that your right hand is underneath your left cheek. So your palm is on the ground. Your left cheek is on the back of your right hand. Your left arm is just next to your left hip, and your left arm is just gonna stay on the floor. But we'll try a few different movements with the head and leg here. So just start by inhaling, lifting your head and your right arm and your hand up off the floor. It might only be a tiny, tiny movement, that's totally fine. Or if that doesn't feel okay, I want you to visualize it. Exhale, lower your head and your arm and your chest back down to the floor. So inhale, lift your chest. At the same time, your head and arm are moving up too, just a little bit. Exhale, release, release, and come down. As you do this one more time, I want you to just notice the action in your back that is making this happen. Lifting up on inhale. This is quite a lot. Your back muscles are doing this. Exhale, releasing in your back muscles slowly to come down to the floor. All right, let your head and upper body rest for a moment. Now I want you to focus on your left leg. So it's the opposite leg. Inhale, lift your left leg up away from the floor. Keeping your left leg straight. Exhale, release slowly back down to the floor. Again, only lifting as far as feels comfortable. So inhale, left leg lifts. Notice how this is the back of your leg and a little bit your back that are helping to create this movement. Exhale, releasing the back of your leg to come down. One more of those. Okay, now we'll put that all together. So you're going to do your right arm and your head and your chest and your left arm. So inhaling, lifting. Only as far as feels comfortable. Exhale, slow release, really releasing slowly, consciously noticing the muscles that were working as you come back down to the floor. Two more of those super slowly. Okay, now we'll switch to the other side. So turn your head to the left. Bring your left arm up underneath your head. Right arm is going to be just on the floor next to your right hip. So again, we'll do this in three parts. So moving first, just your upper body. Inhale, lift your chest up. As you lift your chest up, your left elbow and hand and head also lift a bit. Not straining. Exhale, slow back down to the floor. 2 more, just your upper body. Right arm stays resting on the floor. Noticing what the involvement of your back muscles in this. Okay, take a pause with your upper body. Now focus on your right leg. Inhale, just lift your right leg away from the floor. Notice the contraction in the back of your leg. Exhale, slow release of that contraction in the back of your leg. 2 more, just your right leg. Okay, now put those 2 things together. So left arm and right leg, inhaling and lifting. Notice all the complex contraction on the back of your body. Exhale, slow release of that contraction as you lower back down to the earth. 2 more. After that round, then come on to your back. Just pause for a moment, noticing your back body resting on the ground. And continuing to release any tension that you noticed from your back. Over the next 3 breaths, feel or imagine that any tension draining out of your back into the earth. Then take your right hand behind your head. Let's do cat exercise 4. So with this, you'll be moving your right elbow and your left knee towards each other. Start with your head and your foot on the ground. Inhale and arch your back. Exhale, release your lower back. Lift your left foot up. Lift your chest and shoulders up. And then point your right elbow towards your left knee. Inhale, slowly lower your foot. Lower your head. To a slight arch at the end of your inhale. Exhale, release lower back. Lift your left foot. Right elbow. Inhale. Head and foot return to the floor very slowly. Do 2 more on this side. After that round, pause for a moment. Let your elbow drop to the ground. Feel for being in a state of no effort. And then we'll work with the other side. So left hand behind your head now. Left hand behind your head now. And then you'll be moving your left elbow towards your right knee. So inhale, arch. Exhale, release your back, lift your right leg up. Head and shoulders and left elbow up to your right knee and left elbow moving closer together. Inhale and slowly arrive back on the ground. Arch your lower back at the end. Exhale, release lower back, lift your right leg, left elbow towards each other. Inhale, slow release, back down to the ground. And then do two more. And after that round, rest your head and foot back down. Bring your hands somewhere comfortable. Rest with a sense of the earth supporting you and the wide sky above you. Like a tree with your roots in the earth and your branches and leaves reaching out to the sky and the sun. Let's do a lying down twist whilst we're here. If you stretch your arms out to the side, have your knees bent and your feet on the floor, and then slowly track your knees from one side to the other. Noticing how your hip joints and lower back feel in this simple movement. Again, as with everything, just doing as much or as little of this as feels useful right now, as feels good. Not straining or going past the range of movement that feels comfortable. Then roll onto one side and transition onto your hands and knees to do downward facing dog. I'm getting increasing numbers of leaves all over my mat here. Okay. Sweeping the leaves off. Then, before you come up into your downward facing dog, like have your fingers spread and a sense of each digit pressing down into the floor. Same with your toes. If you curl your toes under and see if you can connect each of your 10 toes strongly to the floor or mat or carpet or wherever you are. And then come up into downward facing dog with a sense of all 20 of your digits supporting you. If you're stiff today, have your knees really bent and stretch your hips towards the back of your mat away from your hands. Wrap your shoulders, move your shoulder blades towards your armpits. Let your Forehead and your neck relax. And then we'll come up to standing. So if it feels fun to do so from here, you could walk your feet towards your hands or your hands towards your feet. Otherwise, bring your knees down to the floor and then come up from there. So you come up to a standing position. We'll do a few standing poses. Just checking who's still here. Okay, great. Brilliant. So, okay, great. So let's do some standing stuff. We want to do, let's do some standing poses now. Let's do some, I want to do some wrist stretches. Let's do this in Warrior 2. If you face one of the long sides of your mat, and then step your feet kind of really wide apart to set up for your Warrior 2 base. Then turn your left toes out 90 degrees and turn your right toes in. And then bend your left knee. Great. Then take your left hand in front of you. So your palm is pointing forwards. Fingers are all spread out. Inhale and hold onto your little finger with your other hand. Exhale, stretching your little finger back. Inhale, hold on to your ring finger. Exhale and stretch your ring finger back. Okay, do the same thing for each finger and then the thumb. Okay, now inhale and stretch both hands out to the side with your palms pointing towards the sides. Exhale, make your hands into fists and then tilt your knuckles down. So you're stretching top of your wrists. Inhale, spread your fingers out. Have your palms facing forwards now. Exhale, make your hands into fists and then tilt your knuckles to the sides. You're stretching the sides of the wrist. Great. Release your arms and then change your legs around. So now you'll have your right toes pointing out to the side, left toes pointing in a bit, right knee bends. And then let's stretch each finger on the right hand now. So right palm facing forwards. Inhale, holding on to one finger. Exhale, lightly stretching that finger back. And keep going. Do the same into each finger and then the thumb. Okay, let's do the sideways one. So inhale, palms pointing towards the sides. Exhale, turn your hands into fists and then stretch down. Inhale, stretch your palms, stretch your hands out, palms forward. Exhale, thumbs in the middle, fingers wrap around, and then tilt your knuckles to the sides. Okay, great. Release your arms, turn your toes forward, and then heel toe your feet back to the middle. Come into mountain pose for a moment. Just be really upright. And then close your eyes and imagine yourself as a tree. Imagine great roots growing down through your legs, down into the ground, making a network under the ground. And then imagine your arms turning into branches. Imagine more branches sprouting out of you, out of your torso, out of your head. Branches reaching out to the sides, all around you. Leaves growing on your branches, turning their faces to the sun. being in communion, in conversation with the earth and with the sky. It's fun to be a tree. Let's get to Warrior One now for a short sequence in Warrior One. If you turn towards one of the short ends of your mat, step your left foot forwards and right foot back, and then bend your left knee. So your hips are facing towards one of the short sides of your mat. Then we'll do eagle arms here. So if you bring your elbows up in front of you, cross your left over your right to do eagle arms on Warrior One. Oh yeah, here, that same sense of earth and sky. Then release your arms and interlace your hands together behind your back. Slightly lift your chest here. Hands could come a little way back if that feels good to stretch into your shoulders. Okay, release your arms. Now we'll come into a twisting lunge. Bring your right knee down to the floor. So you're in a lunge position. You might need to put something soft underneath your right knee. The left foot forward, right knee down. And we'll do an easy twisting lunge. Bring your right hand down to the floor and then your left hand up in the air. If your left arm feels sore, you could take your left hand onto your hip. But your torso is twisting to the left. Your left shoulder is coming back. Okay, then bring your hand to the floor. Tuck your toes under, lift yourself back up. Come back up to standing, and we'll do Warrior One on the other side. So this time with your right foot forward, left foot back. Bend your right knee. So Warrior One with the right knee bent. Finding your balance here. And then bring your arms into eagle. So elbows in front, right elbow crosses over the top of left this time. Eagle arms in Warrior One. Inhale, unwind your arms. Exhale, bring your hands into like an interlace behind your hips. Stand with your torso kind of upright, slightly lifting your chest even, taking your hands back a little to get a sense of opening across the front of your chest. Then release your arms. Bring your left knee down to the floor to do twisting lunge. So right foot forward, left knee on the floor. Now your left hand will come down to the floor And your right arm will go up in the air. Or you could do this with your right hand on your hip. Then bring your hand down to the floor, step your right foot back, and come into child's pose or any resting pose that would feel good right now. If you're in child's pose, perhaps resting your head on the ground or on a block, so you can really relax your neck. And then lift yourself up. Make your way back up to standing slowly. Let's check the times. Let's do one more. Let's do one more standing pose sequence. Just coming back up to mountain pose first, just reconnecting that sense of being a tree. And then come back into warrior one. So turn towards one of the short sides of your mat. Step left foot forward, right foot back, and then bend your left knee. And then set up your arms for birdwing. So you'll have your elbows close to your waist. And then as you exhale, you take your arms out to the side and squeeze your upper arms in next to your ribs. As you inhale, your hands are coming closer together. So exhale, take your hands to the sides, squeeze your arm bones next to your rib cage. Inhale, hands come back to where they were. Doing a few of those. Then bring your hands onto your hips. Step your weight onto your left foot to do like a mini warrior three. So you just did a bit of an angle. So standing on your left leg, leaning forward just a little bit, upper body in line with your back leg. Just feeling your left leg balancing, working here. If you want to go further with this, you could go towards a horizontal and stretch your arms out to the side like an aeroplane. Okay, bring your right foot down to the floor. Next thing we'll do is twisting lunge. So if you maybe step your right foot a bit further back and then bring your right knee down to the ground. So you're in a kneeling lunge position again. Again, you might need something soft underneath your right knee. And then hook your right elbow over your left thigh and link your hands together. Just hanging out in twisting lunge. Breathing in fresh air. Breathing out anything you want to let go of. Okay, unhook your elbows, come back up to standing. And then we need to set up in warrior one the other way around. So right foot forward, left foot back, right knee bent, hips pointing towards the short end of the mat. Doing birdwing first. So inhale and bring your elbows next to your waist, hands in front. Exhale, keep your elbows next to your waist as you rotate your arms, hands coming out to the side. So inhale, hands come closer in. Exhale, hands to the side. Squeeze your arm bones in next to your ribs. And continue like this. Okay, release your arms, bring your hands onto your hips, and step your weight forwards into your right foot now to either do warrior three on a bit of a diagonal or on a horizontal, either with your hands on your hips or arms reaching out to the side. Okay, reach back with the back leg, bring it down to the floor, and then bring your left knee down to the floor to do twisting lunge. You got your right foot forward, left knee down on the ground. And then you hook your left elbow over your right thigh and link your hands, coming into twisting lunge. And then unhook your elbow and make your way into child's pose or any resting pose that will feel good right now. Staying here and feeling the support of the ground underneath you. Letting yourself kind of take a break. Just stilling down in child's pose or any pose that feels good. And then let's kind of reverse that. So if you bring your hands in and then make your way onto your back on the floor. So you're kind of like doing child's pose, but the other way around. So you've got your knees coming into your chest. And then with your left hand on your left knee, right hand on your right knee, make some circles with your knees. So you're just moving your legs around your hip sockets. It's bringing some simple movement to your hip joints. Doing that really slowly. And then circling that the other way. And then let go of your legs. And it's time to set yourself up to rest. So however you want to do your resting today, whether you prefer lying flat on your back or on your side or with your knees bent or any way that suits you, set yourself up now in a comfortable resting position. Letting yourself have some still quiet time at the end of your practice. And then letting everything slow down and still down. Allow your body to relax into the support of the earth underneath you. And feel a sense of the expansiveness of the sky above you, the wide, expansive sky, at the same time as the solid earth. And resting in that. Take a deep inhale of fresh air. And then sigh, letting go of anything, any old, stuck, stale energy. Do that a couple more times. And then begin to move and to stretch and to slowly wake up, taking your time to come back to being upright and going about your day, whatever this day has in store for you. So thank you for joining me for today. If you're watching this off the recording and you want to join me at some outdoor or indoor yoga soon, the current schedule will be on the social media for Inspiratrix Yoga or at the website, which is inspiratrix.co.uk.